everybody. I think it was just, like I said, a positioning thing on sewers. They pushed EG around quite a bit, and EG never got into a comfortable position, other than that one time that they had Glyptic feared very briefly. But you saw Sea-Doo and Talbot at 50% health, Azale out of position. They need to make that happen when they're not about to die, basically.
It was, and that's the problem at that point. They got so far behind on hit points. Sea-Doo was low on mana. Talbot was doing everything he could, tossing out those shields, trying to mass dispel as much as he could.
Yeah.
Man, and he did almost. I can't wait for the replay on that one.
Yeah, he ran completely.
He put the shield up, mass dispelled, hit that UA.
Yeah.
Not good.
Tossed the prayer out. Yeah, but he was down bottom at least. It's not like he was standing next to another. Otherwise, he probably would have just fallen over dead instantly. So good positioning on their part, but it wasn't aggressive enough. They were on their back foot, I think, Team EG, and that's pretty unusual for them.
It is, and it's just the play style. I mean, it might be that another team just plays this Shadow Cleave completely different. Yeah,
than what they were practicing against, something we talked about. Practicing internationally and scouting out other teams internationally is pretty difficult. Uniquely difficult in WoW, I feel. Because there's so much secrecy behind the compositions,
It definitely is, and you can take the same comp and they play completely different between.
That's why Korean and US RMP mirrors were a thing of beauty.
And last year, I think the big thing that you could notice was the LSD mirrors, that Lock Shaman Druid mirrors, where the European Warlocks would go Affliction, and then we saw a lot of destruction out of the US Warlocks.
Well, there was so much burst potential there for Destro back in the last tournament that it was feasible to just burst somebody down, and that's sort of the idea behind MLS. You got that lock rolling affliction damage, and then the Frost Mage is kind of your closer. And in the LSD, your Destro lock for the US side was sort of that closing force. And Chaos Bolt ignoring so many things was pretty obvious selection when you need to kill somebody.
All right, so we're going to go into the second round right now. Big US versus Europe grudge match going on right now, with the first round going to Yaz Presents.
Yep, and it may be round robin, and this may be just one round of many, but this will definitely set the tone for the single elimination if both these teams meet again. This match, much like the last one, will really give you some insight into what's coming between EU and US.
All right, so Team EG, if they lose this round, they're going to be out. Let's hear it for Team EG if you want them to win.
So you guys only kind of want Team EG to win? Do you really want Team EG to win? Can I hear you scream if you want Team EG to win?
Now, there actually is a lot of European fans out here. Where are they? Because Yaz Presents is playing amazing this tournament. There we go.
Can we hear it for Yaz Presents? I see that, Drew. There we go. Pretty impressive, actually.
The gates are about to open. This time, we are going to be following. Let's see how Sea-Doo handles it, because last time it was kind of a rough match for him.
Yeah, I'm going to follow all the players, because that's where the action is.
It definitely is. All right, here comes. The gates are going to be open. Blade's Edge Arena. Quite possibly could be the defining round for Team EG.
Yeah. Well, they both have Warlocks, so that's good, No one's at a huge disadvantage based solely on the portal mechanics. But you see, I mean, this is all EG has to do. They need to stand here and wizard it up. They just need to toss out tons of damage. Already a UA silence on Talbot, and he's just taking tons of damage straight to the face. Another closing the gap, not even catching a fear. Nothing like that. Pretty much allowed to run rampant.
Another definitely cleared away right there, though. Talbot is definitely going to be the target of choice yet again, down to half with that Necrotic Strike. There they go. They clear the Necrotic Strike off from so much healing. But it looks like what they're doing is they're stacking up Necrotic Strike on one target and then switching to the healer. Sea-Doo coiled away already, and had to trinket right there to keep himself alive. Yeah. Using that Spirit Walker's Grace to try to get away from another while being able to cast spells.
And this is a big difference. Team EG, you see, Yaz Presents was focusing the Mage in their last matchup, and now they're focusing the Shadow Priest.
They definitely are.
Much harder time peeling, and it really shows here.
But yet again, this is what happened last round. Talbot, Necrotic Strike. Oh, there we go. Necrotic Strike is off, and you can see Talbot this round versus the other matches he's played. He's jumping out of Shadow Form quite a bit to help his team out. See the wings coming out onto Talbot. See what damage he's doing. Looks like he's going to be blasting Bob right there, who took a lot of damage down to half. A big fear onto another is going to send him.
This is a very different match for him. He's got VT up. He's got VT uptime on 2 players, and that's something he was not afforded last match. This is going a lot different. They're putting out way more damage. Another forced to use that AMS. This looks like a good kill setup for them, and you see him playing defensively. Another's not going to fall for that trick again.
Oh, another getting quite low. Talbot also. Well, there we go. Now Talbot picking getting picked up by Sea-Doos. Great job right there, but another is not being able to get himself above 50% life whatsoever. That silence onto Glyptic right there.
I wish Talbot would have hit him with the mines here. I was just waiting to see that AoE damage tick, honestly. There's a big psychic screen, though. Gets him for a few seconds. And like I said, EG just keeping the pressure on here. Talb is boom, essentially. But if he can just keep the damage rolling, they'll get this. Glyptic in a Hex, another extremely low. He's got IBF up, but no AMS for 10 seconds. Glyptic spiking out of Hex.
Yep, and they can go on either target at this point, but they're going to go on to Glyptic, stacking those dots back up because another...
Are you for real? He spell-locked that. He spell-locked that surge into Death Coil. Azael outplaying Glyptic on a different level.
And look at that. Sea-Doo also very, very low right now, 30,000 hit points, and the Spirit Link Totem just to make sure they're going to win.
Oh, man. I saw him running, casting heal, and he's like, he's good. And then I see a tiny little icon into Death Coil, and you're just like, yep, that's EG. That was much, much better for them on Blaze Edge. The pressure was out. Talbot had way more uptime on his dots. Azael, I feel like he did more damage. The numbers are probably the same. I think it's just that difference between Talbot being able to get a few casts off and being completely suppressed like he was in Sewers. You can really see how much that Shadow Priest damage adds to that affliction when it's rolling. You know, you saw Fabio the Warlock, who has Shadow Ward. He can help mitigate shadow damage, was actually spiking to 40%. And then they just switched on to Glyptic out of Hex. Made it look too easy.
It was. They forced a Trinket out of another and Glyptic. No way for their players to get away at that point.
So now this is an interesting turn of events.
It definitely is.
1-1. Kind of what I expected. Obviously what you expected with your prediction.
All right. It's going to be 1-1, the U.S. champion versus the European champion. The first time that they're facing off.
Yeah. It is.
And both teams looking pretty good this weekend.
Yeah, you can tell that they've been practicing and they know more or less what to expect. They're still feeling out their targets, still understanding which swap is the right one to make at the right time. Because, you know, just like in the earlier match, I feel like Yaz Presents could have better pressure on Azael. We saw Azael pressuring Fabio, but there was no reciprocation of that from the other team. So Azael was able to have just sort of free reign over the match to help control it, peel for Talbot, and then Talbot was able to line up a kill. So maybe if Yaz Presents can get some pressure on Azael here, on Sewers, that's kind of rough for them. On Sewers, you know, I think they'll just take this again. Feel pretty confident if Yaz Presents can put that pressure out on Talbot and Azael this time, this match is in the bag. But all it takes is for EG to just get one good path, one good fear on Glyptic down bottom into some CC, and that could be game.
All right, this is the defining round at this point since Yaz Presents has 1 point and Team EG has 1 point. That means whoever takes this round on Dalaran Arena, not Blades Edge.
Sewers of Blades Edge and a Grand.
They're going to take this match, and this is a huge match because I have a feeling that we're going to see these teams face off against each other yet again this tournament.
I would bet money on it, Jared.
And it's such a confidence booster when you know you've already beaten the team.
Oh, for sure. I mean, whichever team comes away victorious from this will, in their mind, think, I'm going top 4. And whoever loses is going to have to doubt.
Let's hear it for these two teams. They are giving you such exciting matches. All right, so Talbot right away is trying to cast everything he can. Look at that dot stack already onto another. Everything up.
Yeah, and there we go. Spell lock on the Fear. So Fab's definitely prioritizing Azael's control over his damage.
Oh, wow, Talbot already down to half right there. Another UA to spell.
Yeah, he's catching a lot of those early match. I haven't seen any big silences coming out on like Fabs or another early to just try to throw them into some control. So they're definitely playing it differently than the MLS, but Glyptic caught a UA silence there early on as well. So, you know, both teams definitely trying to keep away from that Warlock damage. They do realize it is pivotal, and Talbot is going to be the man to make it happen here for EG if Azael can just have that uptime, because he is not being pressured at all.
Yeah, and the thing to watch is going to be that Necrotic. That is going to be the target of choice for the team of Yaz Presents. As you can see, they keep stacking it onto Talbot, and it's double-edged sword, because until that is completely off, he's going to be casting much slower.
Yeah, but this is super smart. I like the Hex into dots on Azael. You know, it keeps him from putting his dots up on you, and it's forcing Sea-Doo to pay attention to not just him and Talbot.
All right, but Azael, wow, what a switch onto Azael right now, taking a lot of damage, down to 10,000 hit points. Hey,
where'd that portal at? No portal, Azael just falls over dead.
Wow, Azael dying so quickly. Man, I wish I could see exactly what happened there, because I missed exactly what happened to Azael. Because Sea-Doo, I thought he was going to be fine. No Spirit Link Totem.
Wow, dude, set mine to blown. What?
Europe does win.
I'm speechless.
It was. Wow, that was so much damage so
down
quickly
bottom.
onto Azale.
Yeah.
Wish I had an instant replay to see exactly what was the cause of that, but
I guess just bad positioning. Sidu might have caught an interrupt. It could have been so many things. I know Azale caught an interrupt on his Shadow Skull. That explains a lot, actually. That explains his lack of self-heals.
and at these players, as always,
Oh, yeah, I mean-
congratulating each other because they know that both teams have put the effort in. They deserve to be